we're bringing back a series that we kind of forgot about because I didn't know what to do with it as well. But now we're going to continue. What is civilization? Alternate world of civilization. So this will have completely new countries, completely new civilizations, as well, and the collapse of civilizations over time, as well. That's what we're doing in this series. Jolly, however, will continue to expand. However, the king has died, and two sons wants to do it. The first son wants to just keep the country tall and not really expand. However, the second son wants to expand, and his ambitions are large and massive as well. He wants to take on the Zinga Empire. However, unfortunately for this country, the first son won. He basically was crowned the new king. First, Jolly will expand over here, taking a lot of this land here. They'll also expand further south as well, but they can't really expand. However, they make the major mistake of declaring war on Zinga as well. The Zingan king did not expect this, and they declare war on the Zingan country. Zingan country is taken back by this, and they're like, wow, this is just absolutely stupid. The Zingan military is, however, much more powerful than the Jolly military, and they push back the Jolly military massively as well. Yeah. The successor king to Jolly, basically, the king of Jolly realizes he's hanging on a very unstable country, as most of this area, a lot of this unsettled area, just straight up, is no longer controlled by the country as well here. So a lot of this newly claimed area is no longer controlled by the country as well here. And the southern portion of the country wants independence. This is basically the more populated area as well. They will do a rebellion to basically say, hey, we want our independence. We want our freedom from this country, basically, because our people in our homeland are not being treated very well. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people in the southern portion of the country want out, and they say, hey, we are being, treated very unfairly by the government, which happens a lot in history, honestly. Okay? In history, always, the poor regions being exploited as well, and they basically want to escape as well here. Jolly, which this country was named after the first king, the first monarch, as well, they are basically being pushed back as well, and Zinga will also make an encroachment onto the Levant, which is an area they control, and the king, of course, refuses to surrender. He refuses to surrender because he is that egotistical, and he basically loses this war. The king is arrested, he is basically killed as well, and Jolly as a country is no longer here. So the peace treaty as well. All expansions to the country will cease as well. This entire piece of land will be ceded to Zinga. This entire piece of land. The southern portion of Jolly will gain its independence as well. Okay. Why is it doing that? Okay, we'll use a different color then. We'll use this color then. Here. The southern portion of the country gains its independence. Safraya is named after the country's liberator as well. The capital city will be on the coast here. Jolly will still exist, however, they will not be a very strong country anymore. Now we'll go back to North America. North America has mostly been peaceful, as there has been a lot of land to expand into. However, there has been tensions between Tulsa and Domoria, wherever this country is. The the king of the basically there is a disagreement over who should own this land here, as well. Who should own the Delaware and South Jersey? Basically, Tulsa wants to here, and yeah, basically every country has their own fictional ethnicities as well. They're not based off any real ethnicities as well. So basically, every country has its own unique native people as well. Tulsa will, of course, march soldiers into Demonia and take the Demarva area as well. However, Tulsa is much more powerful and much more populated. Demonia is mostly just the Appalachia people because no one wanted Appalachia. However, Demonia however, is a country not to be underestimated. They invade Tulsa very, very easily as well here. The northern mountainous areas, which Demonia is more familiar with, is invaded as well, and they actually hold on to this for quite a while. They're actually even able to kick out this country out of Demarva for a little bit as well here, as they're able to create a counterattack to basically push out Tulsa. However, Tulsa has far more people they can draft compared to Demonia. Demonia uses mostly guerrilla warfare and the mountainous areas as well here, which isn't really effective right now considering the fact that they don't use guns, but guerrilla warfare is still a pretty effective strategy. However, Tulsa still takes a lot of the Delmarva area as it's very lightly populated at this current moment as well. Here. Demonia does attempt to take back it once again as well here, and they actually seclude a bunch of troops to the New Jersey area as well here, and they actually take it back. Tulsa is very, very angry over this, and they finally accept Damia, or whatever this country is, dominion over this area up here. Tulsa will surrender and accept the fact that that they did not win the war as well. Yeah, they'll also be losing a few provinces in the north as well. Yeah, they'll be losing this upper portion of the country, which is mostly the Appalachia areas, as Demonia is far more invested in it. This makes this country very, very angry, as well as they lost a lot of valuable land to this other country. It, however, will continue to expand further up north into Wisconsin, and that's all that happens as well. The country goes further up north as well here. However, they're having a hard time expanding this way, however, but they do expand further up north into Wisconsin. Poemia, nothing happens to them. Odinese Empire, they are still thriving as well here. As the king orders another expansion further up north. However, they are gained, towards that, too much aggressive expansion as well. Nothing really happens in South America, as well as this buffer state is keeping these two countries at war to be at bay, as the southern ports of Amazonia did declare independence as well. However, another war in the Middle East begins, because that's where civilization kind of started. Zinga, the massive empire that exists here, will invade Hebidia. This is a very weak country as well here, and they will be invaded very quickly as well. Hebidia did last pretty long for like hundreds of years, but for like 20 or 40 years, for hundreds of years, but they are being invaded as well here, and Hebidia is being defeated as well. This country didn't really last too long, and they are invaded and defeated. However, Hebidia will not cease to exist as a country as well. They will just have this. Zinga just wants this northern land where the vast majority of the population is. This will piss off the Hebidian government, obviously, because they still exist, but they are mostly just restricted to up here as well here, and they're basically stuck to the poorest provinces as well here. They don't really have much where to go here. They have a capital right here as well. Then we have the country of Astros will continue to expand into Ukraine, making it a land border with Zinga as well, the most powerful country at the current moment. Astros will also continue to expand into the Balkan Peninsula as well, making this country very big. Kharada, which is basically the India as well, will continue to expand further south as well here. They will continue to expand as well, as they see a lot of great land here, so the country will continue to expand further south. Papua New Guinea or Poland will expand into Australia as well. Unlike the real timeline that we live in, Australia actually has civilizations, so we'll get to keep up with civilizations in Australia. China or Zania, at this current moment, which is basically just the name of the dynasty, will break into half. Basically, this portion of the dynasty wants their own independent country. So basically, the emperor has a has a competitor, and basically he's kicked out, and basically rallies a lot of the eastern portion of the country to gain independence. Zizu is now an independent country, and their capital will be here. Again, the country being named after the monarch as well, after the emperor as well. Here. And then we have an update on Europe. So Europe, there are a few civilizations in like southern Europe as well, but a new civilization will pop up in northern Spain. And southern France. This is Hispi. Very dumb name, but that's the new country right here. They will exist down here, and they are kind of the newest civilization in the world as well. However, one continent that hasn't had any civilization so far is Africa, and they'll be the first. Actually, there has been one in Egypt, but nothing in sub-Saharan Africa, which is kind of weird because sub-Saharan Africa has a lot of land. A new one country will create a new one civilization around the big lake here will be created as well. Nizo will be created. This is a new civilization that exists in sub-Saharan Africa. And that is this first episode of the series. We're just going to do update by continent and see the major events by country by country. Goodbye.